Hey guys, well, let's look at the progress on this thing. Let me turn down the music here. Okay, first of all, let's look at the schematic. Okay, if you look at the schematic there, you can see we have the power comes in through the plug, and we have a switch and a fuse. And then here's the primary transformer, just like we learned in class. Instead of diodes, this uses a 5Y3 tube rectifier. Why would you do that? Well, it sounds different, and I think it sounds better than any transistor stuff. A lot of people tease me that, you know, I don't use transistors on this stuff because Shockley invented it, and Shockley was a professor at Stanford. But that's not really why. But it's a good joke anyway. So then after it comes out of the rectifier, it goes here to this first capacitor. That's this black one right there. And then it goes through an inductor. So it's going out of the capacitor here through the inductor. The inductor's on the back side of the board. Over right there, which is this capacitor. In this one can, there's two capacitors and a resistor between them. Okay, so what we could do is we could watch this thing work. First thing I got to do is plug in the tube. Where did I put the tube? Here it is. Okay, so let's turn this over, and you can see this is where the tube goes right here. The rectifier tube goes. It's keyed. It can only go in one way, like that. This is the inductor I was telling about. This is the output transformer. That's when we have all this stuff built. We'll learn about that. And here's the power transformer. So this transformer has three outputs: high voltage, which is 50 gazillion volts. Well, it's like 500 volts. You got to be careful with that. And so here's its 530 volts, and it has a center tap. This is a 5-volt output to heat up the rectifier, and this is 6.3 volts that goes to the rest of the tubes over here. That part's not even built yet. So let's go over here and we'll put the meter here. Okay, I don't know if you guys will be able to see this. The meter covers everything. Hold on. Let me take it out of here. And put the meter right there. And what we'll do is I'm going to be really careful with this stuff. Okay, this is super high voltage here, and not guaranteed for you guys. Not recommended to do this at home. So I'm hooking up the test leads right now, and we're going to put this one on the output, which is positive right there. Let me get on there. Okay, well, let's see. It doesn't want to come on there. Hold on a second. There we go. Okay, right there. Okay, and we're going to put this on the ground. It's a negative right there. Okay, so here comes our power in, right? And all I did is I just took a cord. It has a grommet there as it goes through here. This is not a for use amplifier for gigs or anything. It's just an experimental thing. The ground is bonded right there to the chassis. The hot comes over here, goes through the fuse, comes back over here, and goes to the on-off switch. Goes to the on-off switch right there. Okay, and a little jumper wire comes as this cool jewel indicator light that it's on. And so what we're going to do is we're going to turn this thing on. We're going to measure the output voltage. Okay, so we'll put that there. I'll tilt that towards you so we can see it. Let's plug this thing in. Okay, and turn it on. Hold on. Okay, yeah, hopefully you see a little light is on there. And let's turn the voltmeter on, and we're reading as it starts heating up 300. Can you guys see that? Let me get in front of the camera here so I can see. So that reads 390 volts. It'll go to 400 something. So 402 volts right now. Okay, and then if I take this lead and I come over here to the other side of that resistor, Okay, right now it's 300 and about 312. That's over here. So this part of the amplifier here requires less voltage, and then we have a voltage loss as it goes through this resistor right here. And this will go out to one part of the circuit, this will go out to another part of the circuit, and this goes to the part requiring the highest voltage right here. So we'll see all that as we build this thing. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. I'm going to take this, I'm going to leave that there, I'm going to shut this off. Okay. Now notice the voltage dropping. Okay, right now it says 270 volts, and it's going down. But you would not want to stick your hand in there right now, because that capacitor is holding a charge and it's going to discharge itself over time. But I could speed that process up by hooking a resistor in parallel. I don't know what I do with it, it's around here somewhere. Or I could just let it discharge, here it is, over a long amount of time. So what we could do is I'll unhook the meter. And what I'm doing right now is I'm hooking this resistor across the circuit. Okay, and there's a resistor across the circuit, but right now what it's doing is it's only discharging this capacitor. So let's move this over to that capacitor. Okay, and the most important one is this one right there. And so we're going to discharge that. We'll let that sit there for a second. I'm not sure what the RC time constant is for this thing. I don't even know what value resistor that is. I just grabbed it because it's the big one. It's like 5,000 ohms. Okay, so let's disconnect this. Let's hook it back to the voltmeter. Put the meter back in line. Let's see what it reads now after a little bit of discharge. Alright, and so it reads 2.7 volts. So it's kind of okay now. Okay, well, it's jumping back up to 3.4, but it's down there under 10 volts. So we're okay here. Right now it's still plugged in the wall, so there's AC right there. Let's unplug that. Okay, and this thing's pretty much safe now. Right. A lot of power supplies have something called a bleeder resistor, which is where a resistor like this is just soldered in there and it does what we do. But if you have a tube amplifier here and you have tubes in it, and when those tubes are hot, when you shut off the power, it'll discharge the capacitors by itself. Kind of takes a while, but by the time you got the cover off and stuck your hand in it, you'd probably be okay. Probably. Don't try that at home. Okay, so we'll build some more of this and we'll have more later.